Danger Street issue 5, Tom King writing with Jorge Fornes on the art. So yeah, obviously this is very serialized. We sort of just pick up where we left off with Orion sort of confronting Starman and Warlord, and Warlord tries to like negotiate and just talk peacefully to him, but Orion's he's a bit of a tempered fellow. You know, he's not got the patience to do such a thing.
You describe him as he has a Donald Duck temper.
And basically, this fight is so bombastic that it starts causing like earthquakes in the town. You know, the rumbles from it. The kids see it on a nearby roof in the town. Lady Cop feels the rumble. So everyone's kind of like throughout the issue on their way to this fight because it's just attracting all this attention. You know, at least around this town. But there's a great full page spread of like this, like, you know, it's like a dome of energy in the distance as they're fighting, with the kids looking. It's really good. But a lot of the other stuff, obviously, in this issue is the Green Team and Manhunter getting after the blonde one with the glasses.
The movie exec guy.
The movie guy, yeah. And he's like being sleazy with what looks like an adult woman. Yeah. But he's being all sleazy and casting couchy, and he opens the door to this trailer, and the Manhunter's standing there. But something interesting happens here is that the kid starts begging for his life. Says, I can give you money, I can give you power. Do you want to be in a movie? I can do all these things for you. Manhunter can't take the shot, and then he tries to punch him, and he can't do that either. And this, I thought this was great writing, actually. This little kid's demeanor changes from like pissing his pants and begging to, oh, I see what this is. You're incompetent. You can't perform. You're pathetic. Yeah, he starts like being a little shit because he thinks he's safe. And it's explained over the next like page or two that this is codename Assassin using like a power he has that he can telepathically like protect him, and it stops Manhunter from killing the kid.
But it feels like it takes a lot out of him, right? Because you see him fall over. Yeah,
he faints basically. Yeah. And when the main kid is like asking about this later, and he's talking about it, just to cut to that scene now, the main kid's like, well, it takes a lot out of you to protect all three of us, because obviously there was 4, but 1 died last issue. He's like, how about instead of protecting all 3 of us, you just protect me, and makes a deal with him. And so we get like a great payoff to this later in the issue, where this blonde movie kid is like, oh, you're here again talking to Manhunter, and he starts like trash talking, and Manhunter just grabs his throat and strangles him to death. And it's actually really satisfying because this kid is so unlikable and such a little prick that
you cheer.
Yeah, like you're on board. You're like, yes, go for it, Manhunter. It's pretty good. It's like, okay, this is setting up that there's really the one kid who's the main bad guy out of the Green Team. So that's got that going. There's more fighting with Starman fighting Orion. Starman is obviously trying to because he wants the kid to try and save him because he feels his guilt, and he wants to redemption for what he did. He wants to fix what he did. He's kind of desperate. And Orion wants the kid's body for, you know, Highfather and shit. So basically, Warlord is like stealing the coffin quietly whilst Starman's fighting Orion. So he's like sneaking the coffin out into the car and like try to drive away, which is honestly quite entertaining, I have to say. So yeah, he snuck the coffin away in the car. Lady Cop's on the way. She's cracking jokes about, oh, this might be nothing, but if it's those kids setting off fireworks, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm going to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, so you're prepared to book me on murder charges. I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, and there's a scene in the middle as well where Jack Ryder, like Batman, shows up to basically tell him, hey, stop this outsiders crap, it's fake. There's no such thing. Yeah. And Jack Ryder, instead of like saying that he kind of feels the same way, because we know he does have questions about these outsiders. We know he's kind of forced into saying what he's saying. He's very confrontational with Batman and tells him to piss off, even though we know he kind of agrees with some of the things that Batman's getting at, which is interesting. It kind of like gives him a bit of a layered character.
It makes him very much a contrarian, right?
Yeah.
Because now that Batman's telling him, like, you need to stop, he's going like, oh, do I though? Why? Is because what I'm saying is you know, causing you problems because you're never, I like here that he tells him as he's literally blowing smoke at Batman from a cigar is, he's like, you're popular with the elites, but the regular people, they listen to me. So all the people that work in your mansion, they probably listen to me. And I heard this all in, what's his name with the bow tie? Oh, God. From Fox News. He drives me nuts so much I can't remember his name right now.
Tucker.
Tucker,
Yeah.
This is all with the smarmy stuff of Tucker Carlson,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm, because like you just said, he knows a lot of this outsider stuff is just being used to, to foment like hostilities between people.
Yeah, it's a boogeyman for everyone.
Yeah.
Like all the common people to sort of like get together and hate together. Yeah.
But then and it comes together and as in his address there at the end with Batman. But here it's like, well, if Batman's telling me to stop, then why? Why do I need to listen to you? And it was just one of those things where it was very maddening because it's like, writer, you were so close,
Yeah,
so,
it paints him as this guy who can't accept being told what to do or that he's wrong or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was cracking up at Warlord talking to himself as he's still in the coffin whilst the big fights happen. It's a great full page spread with him. He's got the coffin in his shoulder like Arnold with a tree trunk at the start of Commando. With the fight going on behind him. It's really great stuff.
Yeah, sometimes I guess I just want to be a superhero.
Yes, being a superhero is stealing the coffin of a child who died
because of something that he was doing.
Yes.
Like again, oh no, it's the consequences of my own actions.
Yeah, and the dingbats almost run into him in their little quad as they're driving towards him. And we get the scene with the main Green Team kid getting Codename Assassin to work for just him and not the others. So he's like turning on his friends essentially. So yeah, the fight keeps going. Everyone kind of coalesces. When Warlord almost hits the kids with the car, he swerves and the coffin goes flying into the desert. And the body goes flying out of it as well. It's actually kind of comically dark. And then he hits Lady Cop's car. So she gets like hit with that. The kids have got a gun, which they got last issue.
What's his name? He's just talking about grapes at the beginning, and he reaches into the bag, doesn't realize there's a gun in there.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
So they're about to confront Starman. The blonde movie kid gets strangled. And that's kind of where the issue all this stuff is going off. It does this thing where the last page is a 9-panel grid, and it's all like everything's something different. It's Jack Ryder talking about shit in one panel. It's Warlord having he's like being knocked out in the car. It's Lady Cop being injured getting out of her car. It's Starman keeling over because the fight with Orion was too much, even though he won. It's the kids holding the gun. It's it's all this stuff. Just all together building up to the to be continued. I think if nothing else what this book is doing really well, it's reminding me a little bit of Doomsday Clock and its tone and how it's jumping around all these characters and I'm so engrossed in what the story is. Obviously it's not doing this big continuity defying thing that Doomsday Clock was, but it's giving me a lot of like similar storytelling vibes as that, and I like that.
King has a lot of balls in the air and we all know exactly where they're going, right? We can follow the through line pretty well through each of these characters.
Yeah, I think the first issue was like good, but it was a lot to take in all these new characters. But now that we're 5 in and we're well versed in all of them now, it's like it's so easy to read now, and it's really enjoyable. So I'm glad that hurdle was there just to like get us to that point.
And Ryder's speech here at the end talking about the superheroes and how we live in a world where saintly men fly above us and save us. And it raises, this question, like, but do you feel safe? It's very Lex Luthor of if we have to rely on the superheroes, does that make us, beholden to them? Or, they should be afraid of you. You're the ones they should be afraid of. And it's, the Helm of Naboo at the end, his last tag for the issue is, monsters forsake monsters as surely as brothers are loyal to brothers. But will these rules from which we build our story stay fast and true? So it's this whole thing is like, they keep referring to Creeper as an ogre, and this whole thing of, as monsters will forsake the monsters. So, they'll they'll turn on each other, much like the Green Team kids did, as the brothers are loyal to the brothers. As the kids will stick up for their fallen friend. And it's almost as if like we're almost just passengers on this, and no one has agency. That this stuff is just playing out, regardless. So I'm still curious to see how the Helm of Fate factors into all of this and why he's telling us the story. Like, you know what I mean? But it almost feels like there's an air of predestination there in that final panel. So, but yeah, man, Fornes's art looks fantastic throughout. Like the sequential stuff, like the scene where the blonde kid, the Hollywood Green Team, gets strangled, and it just it feels very much like a storyboard.
Yeah.
So you can just feel it. So.
The sequentials are so strong. It's full of these moments where you can sort of see the beats of the scene kind of like playing out, and it makes moments like the strangling entertaining, or even the earlier scene with him where his demeanor changes. Like and that a lot of that is in the art. It's not just the dialogue. It's his facial expression changes to like arrogance after he was sniveling and begging for his life. Like that stuff is really good. And then on top of that, you've got all the like it's juggling all these characters who all sort of bring their own tones with them. So you cut to like the little joke bit with Lady Cop where she's talking to the other cop on the phone, and it's like, I'll kill those kids. Don't bother looking for the evidence.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And it's all just very light and jovial. But then you've got the really serious, dark stuff with these kids putting themselves in danger and all the rest of it.
Well, and then that fight between Orion and Starman too. It feels like a Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, that's kind of your comic booky thing, and I kind of love that it literally happens in the background for the most part. Like Warlord's actually just walking away from it, and you just kind of see it happening in the background. I kind of dig that.
Also, you talked about the Warlord panel, which I really liked with him in the coffin, but also where the kid comes out of his trailer, and Manhunter's just there, holding a gun. Like, here's this world-class assassin, right? But at the end of the day, he's just holding a pistol on this kid, and it almost makes it more scary, right? Than like something with a superhero, than him having like a laser gun or something.
And there's also like dead bodies, like you can just see
around him,
on the floor,
like his security. So again, it hits with that predestination kind of vibe going through it. But yeah,
it does feel like the whole thing's kind of like going to some sort of tragedy before there's a happier outcome that I expect could happen. Maybe they'll resurrect the kid somehow. Or maybe sometimes dead is better. Yeah,
right?
Maybe the harsh lesson is there's no easy way to fix your big mistakes. You have to accept that this is the consequence of what you did.
Oh my God, what if that is the main thing, and that's why King picked this obscure 70s one shot?
Oh, because he can kill just about ones. Yeah, he can kill just about anyone. No one's going to be mad at him.
I don't mean like that, but like in the meta sense of like DC thought this was a mistake. That's why they put them all into one. And like even through this story, you really can't fix that mistake, right? It's all being told in this one massive story.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You're right. And of course, I'm sure there's going to be more, subtext and all that type of stuff because King does so well. But I like in the meta sense that's why this book with these characters, and it's quite stunning how well he's made them all fit into the modern world. Right? These are all kind of very 70s concepts, like of the Green Team, of these super rich kids compared with the dingbats or these street urchins and whatnot. But I don't ever think the Green Team were necessarily villainous in the 70s. I think it was just like this Richie Rich kind of book.
Okay.
So to turn them into like the main villains and moneyed interests, if you will, because each one of them represents a different like corporate titan. And here you have the Hollywood kid kind of representing the dark side of media. You have the oil baron kid. I don't know who the kid is who was doing the speech to the military.
I'd say he's like the politician of the group.
And then there's one more, and I'm not familiar with the last one. But
he died last issue, so...
Well, no, that was the one I was talking about. He was the oil baron kid.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, he was the one that was going up to, look at this pristine land. I can't wait to get drilling.
Well, I assume the one that we can't remember will probably die next issue, given that we're on that trajectory. Well,
and it wouldn't surprise me if to make things easier, he sends Coney to assassin after him, right? And we get Manhunter and him racing to kill the Green Team member. So, but yeah, no, this book is very good. This one was very dense though, but this one took me a couple tries to get through just because it is very dense, but not in that like hard to read way. There's a lot going on, and so I would put it down and pick it back up and have to, you know, get to where I'm going. But so I feel like at least I'm getting my money's worth.
Oh yeah, like I love how packed each issue feels. It feels like I'm getting a good like chunk of story, a good chunk of like a series each time.
Yeah, on my first read, I got to the scene with Lady Cop, right, where she goes to go off, and I'm like, oh, this is gotta be almost done, and I was only halfway done, you know. So yeah, 17 out of 34, exactly halfway, and I felt, you know, this is gotta get over it, and I still have the book to go. But yeah, no, it's very enjoyable though.
Yeah, no, it's great stuff. I think what's nice about these Tom King 12-issue books is it's not just that they're all great and they're all doing good stuff, it's that every time I think another one is maybe not going to work quite as well because it's different, it ends up being good in its own way, in a way that is very different to the previous ones. So I have nothing but praise for it, basically. But looking forward to issue 6. What are you rating Danger Street issue 5, Matt?
I'm giving this an 8.5.
Yeah, I think 8.5 sounds about right. So that's what I'll go with too.